your head of state to your territory of accreditation. If you achieve that, you can as well retire as a diplomat. So you can see my pleasure that as a result of this effort and the responsibilities they gave us, I am receiving my double boss. I'm his deputy in the government and also the minister for East Africa, where the head of state sent me, and which happens that whenever you have a head of state, also the minister for East Africa of that country becomes the chairman. So it is in my turn that I am receiving and presenting to this Chamber of Commerce the representative of my government and also my boss and the boss of all of us as far as East African community integration is concerned. So, and not only that, I am also lucky because I'm chairman of my colleagues, the chairman, the ministers of East Africa. One has come in the shoe of the head of state, and the other has come in his own state. So you can see that my work is really made easy, because with such people behind my back, you can see that we should be able to move a number of things. So this is, my work is just a reassurance. And I know the president of the Business Council is very pleased that he has been able to pull it. So my work is only to congratulate the Business Council for reaching 20 years of age. And I wish them to continue and surpass my age with greater achievements, with more vigor, at least beyond my age. So I think with these few remarks, it's my honor to call upon my double boss to be able to back you, because where he is, I'm not supposed to sound. Where the big drum is, I'm not supposed to. The small drums sound little. So I think I could stop there and say that the practical example of saying that every Friday we should wear the clothes made in East Africa, I think that's how it is. I have always that background of India, where Mahatma Gandhi came with a new philosophy, obvious. And when the Nehrus, those who had benefited from the British Raj in India, came from Eton and Oxford and Cambridge, and they were brought in, says the lure of independence. If they came in a dress like me, and they said, how can you fight the British when you are the one encouraging them? Says, how? Can you please take off your shirts, your coats, and your ties, and put them there? He sent one of them to buy petrol, and he held a box of matches. Says, from now, let's all Indians, including you, wear hand-woven and handloom clothes, because that's the only way you can fight. And it worked. Now, this I'm also concluding I'm reporting to my bosses that recently, 2 days, we had the inter-universal inter-university council meeting, which had academia, public and private partnership, and industry. And we said we cannot do all those participations unless we have people who participate to bring about these things. And the people who think for the country, you get consultants. They are the professors, those with the PhD. And we have a deficit of them. So we came up with an idea that we are going to increase the people who are thinking. Because everything that I can tell you, because the discoveries are discoveries of the ordinary, that anything that moves cannot move without intellectual leadership. And the greatest discoveries are the discoveries of the ordinary. I had to wake up at 6:30 so as to be able to reach here in time. Why? Because the cars are full. And you can take 3 hours to here. And I said, Aro, I reminded those intellectuals. I said, do you think Newton discovered anything, rocket science? The apple had always been falling down. But aren't you mesmerized with the amount of wealth in our hands? These cars, I said, are they given to you free by your Shaidizi? Said we buy them. I said, now, if we have got that wealth, can't you think out a solution that we can become a market for ourselves? And also be a market to others. Why should we leave ourselves to be a market for others? I gave a small example. I said in the next 10 years, we are going to, as my Minister of Works is here, we are going to spend more than $37 billion on infrastructure. But how can we just organize for others to come undertake everything and nothing remains? I think on that, I leave you to think. Thank you very much. I call upon my boss to come and address the Business Council.
Right Honorable Kirunda Kivejinja, Second Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda and Minister for East African Affairs, Honorable Ministers and Cabinet Secretaries, the Secretary General of East African Community, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, the Chairman of the East African Business Council, representatives of governments, representatives of the development partners, ladies and gentlemen. President Joel Museveni, as you have heard from our elder, Kirunda Kivejinja, very much wanted to come and participate in these important celebrations of your 20 years of existence. However, because of other commitments, has not been able to make it, and he therefore delegated me to represent him. The President conveys his full support for the activities, the mission, and vision of the East African Business Council. And he expresses full solidarity with your work in promoting of business within East Africa and beyond. November 27 marked 20 years since the establishment of the East African Business Council. This is an opportunity to celebrate 2 decades of dedicated advocacy for the private sector in East Africa. It is also an occasion to showcase companies that have taken advantage of the East African community regional integration process of doing business across the region. I congratulate you for embracing the cause of the East African community, striving to see that there is regional integration and that the process is achieved with meaningful and tangible benefits to our people. Your contribution through promotion of investments, of doing business, and of creating jobs is most appreciated. I also congratulate you for living up to your commitment of being the apex body of business associations of the private sector and corporates from the 6 East African countries. We as a region wish to see the East African Business Council do more to facilitate and promote all aspects of private sector development in East Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to witness the progress of the Council and the efforts it is making in growing as an institution. Yes, as the Council has 54 associations and 108 corporate members. Among the associations are all the national private sector apex bodies, 4 manufacturers associations, 5 chambers of commerce, 3 employer associations, 2 women associations, 2 bankers associations, and the Confederation of Informal Sector Associations of East Africa. This is solid and broad representation. And indeed, we salute you for bringing the different shades of businesses together. Ladies and gentlemen, since the inception of the East African Business Council, there has been progress made towards achieving the integration process through trade and policy reviews, tax harmonization, discussions on the Northern Corridor, stakeholder engagements to improve the free movement of goods and services within the region, to mention but a few. But the point made by our brother, Mohammed, the minister, representing President Uhuru, was an extremely pertinent point. When the business people meet, agree on a position to be taken in East Africa, and then when they go back to Kampala or to Nairobi or to Burundi, they go back to the respective countries, they say, we agreed, but, and by the way, this is not only the business leaders, but sometimes, unfortunately, it is also reflected in the political leaders. Therefore, let us re-examine ourselves. Let's put all the cards on the table. Let's address issues openly, clearly, and transparently. Let us resolve them and therefore implement them. If we do things openly and transparently, implementation, which has been eluding us, will become more visible and more achievable. This 20th anniversary brings huge opportunities for the East African Business Council to continue to exploit in a concerted effort to achieve and even surpass the objectives for which you set out to obtain. Tariff and non-tariff issues, especially non-tariff barriers to trade still feature high in the agenda of the Council. Other issues and themes such as economic partnership agreement between Eabc and Europe, counterfeits, infrastructure, HIV/AIDS, and finance are now part of the East African Business Council lobby and advocacy activities. Needless to say, these directly affect the livelihoods of our citizens in the region, and therefore they are important issues. As governments, we support the cause of the Council, and more so in achieving the goal of regional integration. The East African community is now a model regional bloc that is growing and has gained international reputation. Doing business as a community is becoming the norm, as evidenced by this week's signing in Kigali, Rwanda, of the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, where the leaders of 44 African countries signed a treaty to create one of the largest free trade blocs in the world. It is indeed an achievement, but also a challenge in terms of implementation. We should be able to face realistically this challenge and move on. It is hoped the treaty will come into force within 6 months and increase prosperity for 1.2 billion Africans. This is a true learning experience for businesses across Africa and indeed in the whole world. Trade between African countries is still low. It accounts for only 10% of all commerce on the continent. This has to change, and bodies like the East African Business Council have a big role to play in this endeavor of increasing intra-African trade. Friends, what took place in Kigali is in line with the theme for this 20th anniversary, which is, as you have already been told, beyond East Africa, moving aspiration to action. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot rule out challenges that we face along the route in achieving our full integration, such as the need for full harmonization of policies and laws. This is a process that is taking time for all partner states, but a lot of progress has been made in this direction. In spite of the progress made, we must accelerate the momentum. The East African community is growing at a fast rate with the entry of the Republic of South Sudan. This has expanded the market scope and opportunities for doing business, investments, trade, and jobs for our people. Before I conclude, the issue of clothes made in East Africa has taken some center stage. And our elder Kirunda Kivejinja has brought in the examples of India. I think the advice that we should choose a day, perhaps Friday, and make sure that we are wearing East Africa is a good idea. In terms of scores about dressing East Africa, I think the high table scores rather poorly. But to compensate, I should also mention that in Uganda, for the last 1 or 2 years, President Museveni, instead of wearing East Africa on Fridays, has decided to wear East Africa every day. So I think they are good examples, and I think the trend is going to continue to be more and more East African in our attire, and this will also reduce the hemorrhage of resources that have been going to different continents in order to acquire attire which is expensive but not necessarily very appropriate for our weather, for our pockets, and indeed for our textile industry. Let me conclude by once again congratulating the East African Business Council on this 20th anniversary. May you continue to grow from strength to strength, serving our people in many years to come. I thank you.
Let us give a big hand to all our speakers. And as we close, I'd like to invite Professor Maggie Kigozi from the Uganda Manufacturers Association to give a vote of thanks for our speakers for this opening session. And then I will start you on the next session. Maggie, karibu.
Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda, better known in Uganda, Ndugu Ruhakana Rugunda, all protocol observed. Happy birthday, 20th birthday to the East African Business Council. I want to thank, especially on this day, the East African governments for hosting us in Moshi, more importantly, for seriously partnering with us, with the private sector, with the Eabc, to improve the investment climate for us to do business. They need a big clap for that one. Thank our governments. Our corporates, Madvani and others, are actually already across the region. They either invest directly or they buy or sell to the other countries in the region. Ourselves, as Pepsi, Right Honorable Prime Minister, we are in at least 4 countries selling our product in the region. Our bank board I sit on is already in 4 of the countries. And a fish farming company in Uganda, very nice tilapia, reared in Lake Victoria, sells in another 3 countries. So it is happening. Yesterday, at the East Africa Women in Business Platform Conference that we kindly hosted here yesterday, and our chief guest, Mohammed Adan, Honorable, exhibited 6 very young women who are actually doing interregional trade, who are trading across the region. These are women. Ladies, can we have a big clap? Export has been particularly difficult for women because we are busy, we don't have time, we are harassed, the police are not nice, the immigration officials are not nice, they used to be not nice. And we want to recognize the progress that has been made, especially in ICT. We can do a lot of this work through e-government, e-money, e-banking, you know. So the progress, just to appreciate and thank both government and Eabc. Eabc took the lead in advocating for all these changes on behalf of us as the business community in East Africa. So thank you very much. The private sector who are grabbing the opportunities. Right Honorable Prime Minister and dignitaries, thank you for being here. Just being here. For us, the private sector is acclamation of what you think of us. We thank you for envisioning, as we've heard earlier on, and signing the African Continent Free Trade Area. EAC has been a model. We are way advanced compared to the other regional bodies. EAC is the model that the Africa Free Trade Area is going to build on, and it opens to us opportunities. As the private sector in Rwanda, I watch them promise to deliver the jobs and the economic growth of our continent. And so, thank you very much for being here. Private sector, thank you for doing what you do. Eabc chairman, members, thank you. Our secretariat, both on the public sector, our secretariat on Lillian on the Eabc. Happy 20th birthday, East African Business Council. Thank you.